Hi everyone. Hope you're doing great. I'm Sachi and welcome to Wellness Mantra podcast. I am your host, Sachi, and I am a certified functional diagnostic practitioner and a board certified integrative health coach. So, the intent of this podcast is for you to take charge of your health by understanding your body's healing opportunities and work on it organically. My belief is that through the podcast, I will be able to educate many to get better skin naturally. As a wise man once said, please always remember health is your real wealth. Note that this podcast must be used only for informational purposes and please consult your doctor in case of any professional help. So today marks my first podcast and I'm very excited to start on this journey. Now, many of you would be thinking, why a podcast? So I'll share a small story. I've always been thinking to start a podcast. Again, have been procrastinating for so long. I was actually about to go live with one of my fellow practitioner and a friend, and we couldn't figure out the live options on Facebook. I mean, we were trying to do that. We were not able to invite each other. We tried for half an hour and then we were bugged by Facebook and Instagram. So anyway, so I thought rather than wasting that time, I can start my podcast. So this will be my first podcast and I'm really very excited. So before, when I was, wanted to start a podcast, I was thinking, what are the topics I want to touch base upon? I'm myself an acne prone girly, and acne has been my cystic chronic issue since years. I'd I'd actually thought to start on metabolic issues, but while I was working on the podcast, I really realized that my severe cystic acne has always been my pain point and everything around it is for me. So this has to be my story and this skin has to be something most important for me. So I'm actually going to talk more about skin health because that is the most close to my heart. I just wanted to share with you all that why this I was like reinforced to start a skin series or a skin podcast is because very recently I'd actually thought I had taken good control of my skin and no more lot of severe cystic acne. But recently this year in February, when I came back from home, that's India for me, I had severe cystic acne and I'm 30 all over my face, and they were big cystic painful deep acnes. They were like so painful that I was like, what's happening? And I couldn't and that triggered anxiety and depression, and I actually was not able to understand why is that happening. Having said that, I am a functional diagnostic practitioner, so I have all the tools to kind of see what's going on in the body. And I did all the testing on myself, the functional testing like gut test, hormones, HTMA, toxic load, and I could see a lot of healing opportunities. And once I started working on them one after another, I could see a drastic difference in my skin. My anxiety just went away like that. The depression just melted. I felt better. I felt, so much vitality in life, full of energy. And I realized that it's not just the skin, it's also my overall health that's been impacted. So I thought this podcast can really help common people like us who suffer from severe cystic acne or eczema or any kind of skin issues and understand that there is a skin gut axis, and our gut talks to our skin, and gut just being one of the major part of our healing opportunity. There are many other things that we can really work on in order to get healthy skin and healthy body. So I just wanted to share with you some of my past stories about how I came in this field, for today's podcast. So the word chronic actually started for me very early in the face of severe cystic acne when I was in university. For a young 19-year-old, severe cystic acne can really hamper her confidence. That was what has happened with me. I knew nothing regarding food and acne, connection, hormonal imbalances, stressors, exercise and acne, how your blood sugar can impact your acne. So what do you do when you don't know anything about it and you're not coming from a background where your parents can really guide you? You go to a doctor, you trust a doctor, and hence I went to a dermatologist one after another. Actually, I went to zillion dermatologists, and they all fed me with different kind of antibiotics and tropicals that, and all those meds only made things miserable for me, because for the some time the acne would go away, but after few months or few weeks also they would come back with vengeance. Like, so if I had like 3 to 4 cysts before, it would come like 10 cysts or 15 and 20, and more cystic and more painful. It not only made my skin worse, my mental health depleted. I didn't want to go out of the house. For a young girl, it's really very depressing that she just want to stay at home the whole day. My gut was wrecked. I was left constipated for years. My digestion had taken bad. I had started getting sick so often with every weather change. I would have a strep throat because, with so many antibiotics, strep bacteria is really living in you in a larger amount. And I couldn't believe myself that, I'm here, I am 21-year-old who's mostly sick, has really bad acne, bad mental health. So also had a real bad relationship that time. So my stress levels used to be very high. So all of these things contributed to more severe cystic acne for me. And I remember telling myself after many years of going to doctor after doctor after doctor that it's enough. I need to take control of my health and I need to take this in my hands. So I started researching, literally googling things, and small things like got to know that exercise and skin matter. So the more you sweat and the more you exercise, use your limbs, you'll be able to detox. So I did that. I started using exercise as one of the main detox pathway for myself, to be honest. And living in a tropical country like India, you would really sweat. I would eat healthier. I started eating more whole foods. As much as I could eat organic, I was eating that. More whole foods. I introduced a lot of basic, it's like vitamin C, zinc, and omega-3s to my daily habits, and that had really helped. But the acne had not gone away completely, especially during my PMSing. I would have more severe oily skin and more acne. So I was getting better, but not like completely gone. I was on such a strict diet that I can't even tell you. I'd reduced a lot of weight, that's good, but I was on really severe strict diet. So that was also very restricting to me. So for example, if I would want to have a pizza, I would not have a slice of pizza. So I've actually was growing up with so many constraints and restraints, but because the other way of going to the doctors wasn't helping me. Then I figured out that in my early 20s, that also because I had PCOS, and I realized that I am estrogen dominant, and none of the doctors had ever tested my hormones. Let me tell you that. And I wasn't aware of that. But I was estrogen dominant, and I started following one of the doctors back home. He's in the US, but I was following him from India, of course. And he talked about supplements like DIM and Estroblock that has broccoli extract, and that really can help you detoxify those excessive bad estrogen. And I started taking it thinking it's natural, and it is natural, and I did really good on it for a few years, and my skin kind of cleared up and I had that glow, and it really worked. So that means my body was not able to detoxify estrogen properly. However, I just shared with you that in February this year, I had severe cystic acne. Also from a year ahead of it, DIM Estroblock, it seems that it wasn't working on me anymore. So I had to really dig deep into what's happening and why in the first place my skin is breaking out. So I did a lot of testing on myself, and when I did a Dutch test, it's a complex hormonal test. Also talks about cortisol levels that contributes in blood sugar imbalances, and it's a stress hormone. So as if it's on the higher end, you will have higher blood sugar. Hence, you have more breakout because you'll have more oily skin. I realized that I have high cortisol. I had really, really low estrogen because of literally abusing my body for many years and being on estroblock without, and on high doses to be honest, and without understanding its side effects. That's why I don't recommend supplements to everyone just like that. And then I realized that I was low on estrogen, and that was messing up with my sleep. That was also messing up with more acne, because there are a lot of other things that can mimic like estrogen. And not I mean, they are not estrogen. They mimic like estrogenic effects, and they're not estrogen actually. So I was very low on estrogen, and being so low on estrogen so early in age, it's really not good. It's a fertility hormone. It's really that first protective defense for women when it comes to their bone density. It really hampers your sleep if you're low on estrogen. So all of these things, and it stopped working on me. So I realized that okay, that is not working, and I have to give those tools and help to my body in a very underlining manner. Like, what I mean is, I have to get to the root cause of why is that happening, why is that my skin is reacting in the first place. Then I got to know, after my HTMA, I got to know I had a lot of mineral imbalances. I had a calcium shell. I had low potassium, that also, and lower on the sodium as well, that also are very much stress response in your body. And how by improving potassium and sodium, you can really improve your gut motility, your skin health, your hydration to your cells. That's so important. And when you work holistically and treat your body as a whole, as a one, everything gets impacted. And then really working on my detox pathways and my detox, really nurturing my liver. I had not realized that I had really not, since being in this field, still not focusing on taking care of my liver. And kidneys and gallbladder, how important it is to take care of these organs who are working for us so hard. And the liver health also shows up on your skin health. So all of these things, when I started working on holistically, because I knew I had the knowledge, I had the tools, I had the community where I can really go and ask for help, and that worked wonder. My sleep improved, my skin improved, my inflammation went down, and of course I was taking help. I'm still taking help of, targeted supplements for that, and working on the detoxification. And when I work on all of these things and my gut health, I had very high H. pylori levels, I had candida. So I worked on all of that, and I saw a drastic difference in my skin. So my point through this podcast is, I will be taking up one step, or one, I will also be inviting a lot of guests, but I will also be taking up this podcast and starting with a skin series where we talk about different skin issues, but specifically cystic severe acne, but also different skin issues like eczema or rashes and many other things, and talk about that, how all of them stems from similar issues but has different manifestation of on every people because of their genetic pool. So I've always, I don't know whether, I think you'll relate with me, whosoever have had severe acne. And I'm not talking about people who have mild acne. And trust me, I have my all heart for people who have mild acne or any kind of severe skin issues. I think you'll understand this, that it's not easy to, it looks very superficial. It looks like, okay, just take this, it'll happen, and it doesn't matter, and it's okay, why would you not go out? But it takes a hit on the person who's going through it, and it needs a lot of empathy and needs a lot of understanding, because obviously you're not in their footsteps to understand that, how are they feeling, and this can really hamper or cripple your confidence levels. You don't have to feel that way, because in functional medicine, what I mean, in the space of functional testing and functional medicine, where we see the body as a whole, we understand that once we give all the tools to our body, it really starts starts healing. It takes time for every one of us because we don't know what's the crisis we are going through. But once we are able to understand, we see through the data, okay, these are the basic issues, and then we work on the nervous system and many other things. We see that our body starts responding. And I've been my biggest example. So I hope you like this podcast. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm everywhere. This is my fourth podcast. I was not even ready for it, to be honest. I just wanted to go and talk about my journey, and I'm everywhere. So the person who listened to is actually either going through some kind of skin issues or severe cystic acne and realize that you're not alone. I've been in this journey for many years where I knew nothing, just like you, if you're one of them, and felt trapped and has been told by the doctors to go on Accutane because of severe cystic acne. I'm not just talking about some jawline acne. It was everywhere on my face with severe bumps, and I still have few, if you can see, but I know they're under control. They are just reactions, like how to keep them under control. So I'm so much in control of my own body that it doesn't show up. I don't show overwhelmed or panicked or anxious. But if, like, for example, I'm on an Accutane journey, and once you complete that and your skin is healing, even if you get one cyst after that, it's because we are prone to acne, right? That's why it's a genetic pool. Any stressor in your body, if you get even one cyst or two cysts, you're like, okay, what happened? How can I really, what can I do? What next can I do? How is it coming? Is it coming back? That stress that you're going through, that, oh my God, I don't want to have that face full of acne again. That stress is something, it's not going to come back to you if you really work on the root causes. And then because you will be knowing what are the root causes and, where to work, where am I slackening, and, okay, let me do this testing again and see what's happening in the body. And it is wholesome for your body. That's what your body loves. Your body doesn't love you to give Accutane. Again, I'm not judging anyone. I know when you're suffering, I know I've been there. I am very much time on that path. So I know when you're suffering, when you do not understand, you really give your life to doctor's hand, and that's what they give. And sometimes it's the best resort because it's give you that mental satisfaction. But I'm just trying to tell you, there is another way. There is a better way. It's longer, but it's going to heal you forever. I hope you like this, and I hope to see you guys again. Thank you.